Hi, everybody. For those of you who haven't met me, I am Professor Alan Adams, the Assistant Professor of Finance at Dean College. And most of you, I think, are either taking a course with me, Accounting 103, Section 3, or you've been directed here by your professor in the other sections. But my goal here today is to give you a fast introduction to using the Global IQ or the Capital IQ program that we've purchased from Standard & Poor's and have made available to all of you for some very deep drilling down into any company that's publicly traded in the United States, even the world, that you might have curiosity about. So what I have done is I've posted a project that has to be completed by the end of the semester. It's due the last week of this semester. And I did go over this in class. And I'm going to also go through the highlights today because a couple of students still have some issues with how to sign on to Capital IQ. You should all have access. Please try it as soon as you can. Make sure you do have access. And if you do not, write to me as soon as you can because actually with the regrettable facts leading to our extended spring break and the fact that we might go to a contingency plan of doing some online work, this is really an excellent opportunity this week. Now, today is the 16th of March, for you to complete this and get it out of the way, basically. Okay? So now, here's the deal, and I did go through this in class. Way over here on the left side of my screen, you're going to see the project just as it's been posted to my courses, okay? And this is the same thing I did in class already. So for those of you who were there, this is a fast review. Those 7 items represent the project. I want you to select a publicly traded company, your choice, any U.S. publicly traded company at all, and look at these 7 items and use Capital IQ's resources to answer the questions, put it all together into a nice report for me, and then send that to me the last week of class this semester, and that is the project. And the beautiful part about this project is that it's giving you experience with a tremendous resource that Dr. Shaw has purchased for us with Standard & Poor's Capital IQ program. So I'm going to go through the actual steps myself. You should see these all on your screen, hopefully very clearly. All right, and you may always write to me with questions at asadams@dean.edu. Okay, so bear with me one second. And by the way, I hope you and yours have all stayed safe during this terrible COVID-19 issue that the country is going through, the world is going through right now. Okay, so now I am at the lead screen of my internet browser. I'm going to click on a new open screen, and I'm going to type in, just as you should do, capitaliq.com. That should get you right there if your account is already set up. That's the sign-in screen that you see. You'll notice that I've got my username all set up. If you are new to this, the first time you sign on, you will type in your Dean student name there, like jsmith@student.dean.edu. And then you will have the ability to sign in for the first time with a new password and then change that password to one of your own choosing. So since my information is already defaulting here, I'm just going to click sign on, just like that. And the next thing you see is the lead screen. In my class, I compare this to an iceberg where you see the very tip above the water, and yet how far you drill down under the water to where most of the iceberg is, well, now that's up to you. The power is there. We're just going to use it in its introductory phase to get you used to navigating through Capital IQ, okay? Now let's go over here to my request, my project, and you see that of the 7 items I want you all to do, the company's name, first and foremost, you're going to pick a company. Now, just for grins, I'm going to pick Coca-Cola. I've always loved Coca-Cola as an investment. So all you have to do is come up here to this bar. Now look, you see all these tabs. You see all this information. It's deep information. But we're just going to use it in, let's call it baby steps, as we get to learn how to navigate Standard & Poor's program. So you can just simply go right up here into the search bar. Now, I've been working on Coca-Cola lately, so you can see that it's assuming I may want to look into Coca-Cola. But now, every company that trades here in the U.S. and in the world has a ticker symbol, 1, 2, 3, 4 letters that identify it. Now, Coca-Cola's ticker symbol is KO. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the search bar and type in KO. It's going to give you a whole bunch of choices. Now, the first one is usually the one we'll want. Okay, the Coca-Cola Company. Now, before we go on, let's say you think to yourself, well, Professor Adams, I don't know what the ticker symbol for Coca-Cola is. I thought it would be C or CC or COCA. So, no worries. Just type in COCA and the computer's going to help you guess what company you want. Yes, sure enough. Coca-Cola Company, New York Stock Exchange, KO, that's the ticker, is right there at the top. Either way, click on it and watch what happens. All right, this is the very tip of the iceberg for Coca-Cola Company. Okay? So now, let's look at what we're asking for. Obviously, number one, the company's name. I just want you to identify the company. But the second thing I want you to do is number two, I want you to give me a description of the company's business lines. Now, the larger the company, the more likely it is that they do many, many things beyond simply sell bottles of Coke. Excuse me. And now, right here, ladies and gentlemen, you see a business description. It's one of the first things they give you. They tell you all of their major lines. We all know they make Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Coke Zero. They also make Fanta, Fresca, Schweppes, okay, Dasani, water, keep reading, Minute Maid, orange juice. These are all things that are owned by Coca-Cola, and you may not have even known that. So I want you to give me, as the second item in your project, a brief description. Don't copy it, paraphrase it. It must be in your own words, okay? But give me a description of what it is, the major lines that your company, The Choice, does. Okay? The third thing, now remember, we're going to keep drilling down because this is such a powerful program. The third thing I want you to do is find the name of the leader, the man or woman at the top, the president, chairperson, chief executive officer. I want you to find whoever that is at the top. How do you find it? Okay, let's go way over to the left here. Okay, there is so much information. See how that's highlighted? We happen to be on the tear sheet for the company. It's a summary. Okay, I want to find out who the president is. So I'm going to go down here to professionals. Okay, I click on that, left click. All right, and there in blue you see that the big boss is a gentleman named James Robert Quincy. He has the title of chairman and CEO. There's crossover there. Sometimes it will say CEO president, just CEO, just chairperson. It doesn't matter. If you find a couple of people at the top, give me one of them. I'll accept any of them, okay? And identify that person for me. And you did it all, ladies and gentlemen, in one click. Okay? All right. Number 4. Okay, now number 4, 5, and 6 all have to do with the financial statements. Now, you know what the financial statements are. We've been doing them right in class. You know that the two primary financial statements are the income statement and the balance sheet. So we'll deal with the income statement first. So let's go find it. All right, now once again, this is a very powerful analytical tool. So you're going to have a lot of income statements to choose from. They lay out a history of many, many, many prior years. So come over to this left column, and under financial evaluation, you see that second one, income statement. Let's click on that one right there. Left click. Now, you have seen income statements in class, and they are pretty simple. The larger the company, the more complex the statements will be, because larger companies have many, many more ways of earning their money. Don't let that bother you, because we're going to look for the key subtotals, and Standard & Poor's is nice enough to put them in bold print for us. The first thing I ask you to do, number 4, is find total revenue for the last 2 years. They're going to give you several years, as you see here. All right. You know what? There it is right there. Total revenue. You see it? Just grab that number. Now, I want to point out to you, the larger the company, they're not going to print out $500 million to the nearest dollar. No, they're going to shorten it. They're going to round it. So in this case, it is in millions of the reported currency. Every number you see here is stated in millions. Okay? What is the reported currency? Well, it's US dollars. See how they said USD right there? Coca-Cola is a US company, So they report in dollars. So here's what you do, friends. You scroll way to the left. You see this is 2014, 2015, 2016. You come all the way to the right, and you are going to see the last 2 years, their revenues were, for 2018, they were 34, now this is in millions, right? So that number is $34,300,000,000. That's the number I want. I want a second number. I want the most recent. Come over here to 2019, and that number is $37,266,000,000. Give me those two numbers. Okay? All right. Now let's hang on that income statement for a minute, because number 5, excuse me, I want you to give me the total net income of this company for the last 2 years. Now, where do you find that? We know how an income statement works. You start with revenues, cost of goods sold, subtotal gross profit, less operating expenses, operating income, all other items, okay, extraordinary items, gains and losses. Then if there are taxes to be paid, you pay them. And then you've got the bottom line of the company. And you know what? Look at that. Those magic words right there, net income, in the middle of your screen. Scroll all the way to the right. And for those same 2 years, the end of 2018 and the end of 2019, we know the revenues already. We've got those. Here is the net income they made on those revenue dollars. The piece of the pie they get to keep for themselves, for the shareholders, for the owners. The numbers are $6,434,000,000 for 2018. And for 2019, it's $8,920,000,000. It is that easy. Once you feel familiar with how to navigate S&P, and more importantly, once you know how to navigate through a set of financial statements, the income statement, the retained earnings statement, the balance sheet, and we have not addressed the statement of cash flows, so let's forget about that one. However, speaking of cash, let's look at number 6. Number 6 on my project is, I want you to find out how much cash the company had in their bank or in their investments, cash, available cash, at the end of the last 2 years. Now remember, the balance sheet is a snapshot. That's how much they have at that time. So let's go look it up. How do you think you do that? Friends, it could not be easier. It's so intuitive. Come on back over here to the left side, and this time, look down, Financials, Valuation. And up till now, we've done the income statement, rather, I beg your pardon. Now I'm going to go to the balance sheet. I'm going to click on that, one left click, and look at that. Now we know that a balance sheet shows you detail, proving that assets are equal to liabilities plus equity. Okay, so the total assets of Coca-Cola, bear with me please. I hit the wrong button there. All right, there we are. The total assets of Coca-Cola in here, let's use 2014, were $92 billion. Scroll way down here, and their liabilities plus equity also equal $92 billion. The balance sheet balances. Okay? Now you'll notice every time I click on a number, it's giving me a little summary of detail over here. It does that for convenience. I'm finding it very inconvenient now, so I just X out of it to close it. All right, now let's get back to my question. I want you to find out how much cash this company had as of the end of the last 2 years. All right, now we know that in assets, that's where you're going to find cash. Now, companies don't just put their money into a bank account, so you might find a lot of confusing terms up here that we have not covered yet. Don't worry about it. If you were to give me this line, cash and equivalents, I would accept that. The line we're really looking for is total cash and investments, places where the company parks its money overnight to make sure it's making as much money on its money as it can. Give me either of those numbers and that's fine. So now, as usual, let's scroll way to the right where the most recent data is located. You'll notice that at the end of 2018, the total cash and short-term investments totaled $16,115,000,000. That's your first number. I wanted the most recent. That's going to be the end of 2019, and that number is $11,185,000,000. Those are the two numbers I want for purposes of this project, ladies and gentlemen. Lastly, I asked you, number 7, to find out the most recent stock price. It hasn't been doing well lately. I think we can all agree upon that with the way the markets have taken a beating. But don't worry, the markets will come back. Hold on. Okay, I wanted you to find out the most recent share price of the company's common stock. In plain English, if you wanted to go out and buy one share of Coca-Cola right now, and it's in the middle of a trading day, the market's going to be open for another 10 minutes as I'm writing this, how much would you have to pay for that one share? One share. You can buy 1, 10, 100, 200,000 shares, depending on how rich you are. But how much does one share cost? Okay, where do we find that? Friends, we're going to go way back. You can go a number of places here. You can go to the original place where we were when we first signed on to Coca-Cola and click on it. And recognize this? This is where you found the business description. Okay, so now up here, I think I'm pointing in the right direction. You should see as I scroll down, there's our number. Don't worry about all these other numbers. We'll deal with that when you get to my finance class, where I expect to see you. Okay, the last quote was 45.86. That means if you want to buy one share of Coca-Cola right now, more than likely you would pay $45.86 for it. That's what I want. I want the most recent price. If you're typing this after hours when the markets are not open, the most recent price at the close of yesterday's market will appear there. Just come close. That's all I want. Okay? So, friends, that is it. That's a description of my project or your other professors who I believe are doing similar projects. If you have any questions, again, I'm at asadams@dean.edu. Good luck. Please stay safe during this wild spring season where who knows what is happening health-wise. But take good care. Have a great semester. Best of luck. Bye-bye.